what has always been a consistent theme of the NDIS committee is that it has generally tried to work in a very bipartisan way and come together on consensus over how issues need to be dealt with, because most of us appreciate, and most of us, I say, in this place in total and in the other place, understand that the NDIS is a scheme for the most vulnerable in our community, Australians that will need support over their lifetime because they have permanent and lifelong disabilities. It has been, though, I must say, whilst most of the reports, most of the committee's recommendations have been supported, there does seem to be an unwillingness by the majority of the committee, which is not opposition, Greens or crossbench run, to not acknowledge any shortfallings, to not outline in any shape or form concerns around transparency and the longevity and sustainability of the scheme and how it is going to best serve those Australians and their families who require it into the future. Because we did hear across the board throughout the inquiry, and these was also what was important to note with this inquiry was that it actually had a look back over the 10 years that this committee has been in place and the recommendations that this committee has made over 10 years, what's been adopted and what has been ignored. And I think Senator Steele-John would share with me the sentiment that there are so many recommendations that have been made time and time and time and time again, yet the NDIA, in many, many instances, if not the minister themselves, has failed to take action on these. And many of these suggestions are actually not that earth-shattering. We're not talking about fundamental shifts in the NDIS. We're talking about things like working with participants to access a draft copy of their plan so that they can then make sure that what they actually need is in it, that the disabilities that they have are appropriately recognised. If there's things in there that they're not going to use, that they can come out. And I mean, that might actually blow people's minds. I've got a thing in my son's plan that I'm not going to use. There's a substantial amount of money there over 3 years, not going to get used, I don't need it. But if I'd have seen a draft plan beforehand, I would have said to them, take that part out. I don't need it. I'm not going to use it. But this is a recommendation that has been made time and time and time and time again, yet it still seems impossible for the agency to be able to comprehend that this is something participants are asking for, this is something that their families are asking for, this is even something providers would be keen to see, because it means that everyone has surety as they go forward over their NDIS scheme. But unfortunately, since we've seen this government come in, and under Minister Shorten, who I've got to say, I just don't get the sense that interested in it. I just don't get the sense his heart's in this, that he's not really that keen. He missed out on being Prime Minister. This is kind of the runner-up. You know, he's Minister Shorten, not Prime Minister Shorten. He didn't get the big prize. He ended up with the NDIS. And I just feel like, you know, he's consistently expressing his disappointment in himself that he didn't quite get the gig he was actually going for. And so it almost seems bitter in his the way he's changed his narrative, the way that how he used to talk about the NDIS when he was in opposition to now being the minister responsible for it, and the fact that, you know, he used to talk all the time about any discussion that the coalition in government tried to have with him about ensuring that the scheme was sustainable, that it was targeted to the people that required it, and it wasn't being misconstrued, misused, that actual state governments weren't not stepping up where they should. He accused the coalition of pearl-clutching kabuki theatre. Fortunately, my pearls are being restrung at the moment, so I can't give you a demonstration of that. But pearl-clutching kabuki theatre, claiming that the NDIS was tracking just as predicted. Now, we knew when we were in government that was not the case, that it was growing exponentially faster than anyone expected. And so we wanted to have conversations. We wanted to talk, both as an NDIS committee and also from the government's perspective when it was a coalition government, to ensure that we could shore up the scheme, that we could make sure it was sustainable. But ever since we have seen this government come in, there has been a complete change of tune from Minister Shorten, who is now saying that he's going to cap the growth of the scheme, but he won't tell us how he's planning to do that. Now, this is causing extraordinary angst, and this is only coupled by NDIS Monday every time we come in because those opposite refuse to provide the documents around the financial sustainability mechanism. So you know, whilst I am very proud to always be part of this committee to present the reports that we acknowledge the importance of including people with a disability in the planning for their lives, that choice and control remains at the very heart of the NDIS, we need to be able to see how this financial sustainability model is going to work. But we know those opposite have very little interest in transparency. They will not be open and honest with the Australian people. This is causing unnecessary angst, and the work of our committee will continue as we seek answers to ensure that those people and their families who rely on the NDIS continue to be supported. And I seek leave to continue my remarks.